Late January 2026. Before dawn, more than 160 Russian attack drones surged toward Ukraine. This was one of the largest saturation strikes of the Winter War. Each drone carried a 41-kilogram warhead. Together, over 6.5 tons of explosives filled the sky in a single wave. The mission was straightforward: overwhelm air defenses and drain expensive interceptor stockpiles. The goal was to cripple power and supply networks overnight. But instead of simply stopping the swarm, Ukraine took control of it. Within days, Russian drone technology was captured. Within weeks, it was turned into a counter-strike weapon. What started as a mass attack would end with Russia's own launch network in flames. 8:05 a.m., Navlia border zone. Air raid sirens activated across a Russian Shahed drone launch compound in western Russia. Within minutes, Garan 2 attack drones began lifting off in rapid waves. These are the Russian versions of the Shahed 136. By the end of the launch cycle, over 160 drones were airborne and heading toward northern Ukraine. Each drone was powered by an MD-550 engine, with a strike range exceeding 1,000 kilometers. The mission was a saturation assault. Targets included power substations around Kyiv and logistics hubs near Sumy. Russian planners expected Ukraine's air defenses to intercept most of the swarm, but not all. Even a partial breakthrough would damage infrastructure and exhaust interceptor stockpiles. This was not about precision. It was about numbers. Cheap drones were used to force the use of expensive defensive missiles. Volume was intended to overwhelm response capacity. Inside Russian command centers, radar screens showed dense formations moving across the border. Officers believed the strike would strain Ukraine's defenses for days. What they did not know was that Ukrainian intelligence had already identified this batch as newly produced units. The engines, guidance systems, and navigation boards were fresh from the manufacturing line. To Ukraine, the incoming swarm represented more than an attack. It was an opportunity. Instead of preparing only to shoot them down, Ukrainian forces planned a different response. The focus shifted to interference, control, and recovery. The goal was to take pieces of the swarm and turn Russia's own technology against them. As the drone formations crossed into Ukrainian airspace, electronic warfare units activated layered interference systems. GPS signals feeding the Shaheds were distorted. Navigation references drifted kilometers off course. Autopilot systems began correcting against false coordinates. Instead of flying straight toward their targets, sections of the swarm started to wobble and spread. This was the opening Ukraine needed. Rather than launching missiles at every drone, Ukraine deployed dozens of FPV interceptor drones. These interceptors carried no explosives. Their job was to approach, disrupt, and redirect. Ukrainian pilots maneuvered within centimeters of the Shahed wings. They used airflow pressure and short physical nudges to force gradual course changes. Selected drones were pushed away from the main formation toward pre-identified landing zones. The objective was specific. Ukraine was targeting the newest units with the most updated systems. Every controlled descent meant one intact drone. Every intact drone meant access to updated Russian technology. The margin for error was narrow, and several attempts failed. A few Shaheds detonated mid-air when contact went wrong. Their warheads exploded before reaching the ground, but others remained stable. By the time the main swarm continued deeper into Ukraine, multiple drones were already being guided down intact. Ukraine's air defense network was now running 2 operations at once. High-value systems intercepted the bulk of the attack. Meanwhile, FPV units selectively diverted drones for recovery. This allowed Ukraine to limit damage while quietly extracting enemy hardware. What Russia believed was a standard strike was turning into a technological loss. The swarm was no longer just an attack force. Parts of it were becoming Ukrainian assets. Inside Russian command centers, radar operators were the first to notice something was wrong. Several drone clusters were no longer advancing in straight attack corridors. Some signatures drifted sideways, while others slowed down. A few began descending far earlier than programmed. At first, technicians assumed electronic interference from Ukrainian defenses. But thermal feeds told a different story. Ukrainian FPV drones were flying alongside the Shaheds at close range. They were not colliding or intercepting, they were guiding them. The realization spread quickly across Russian command channels. Ukraine was not simply disrupting the swarm, they were taking control of it. For Russian officers, the danger was immediate. If intact drones reached the ground, Ukraine would gain access to the MD-550 engines and updated navigation boards. Years of drone development could be handed to the enemy in a single night. Emergency orders were issued across the air defense network. All Pantsir units were authorized to engage friendly drones. Within seconds, Russian cannons opened fire into their own formations. Tracer streams ripped through the sky as Shaheds disintegrated midair. Burning debris fell across forest zones and border terrain. Dozens of drones were destroyed by Russian fire alone. But the situation continued to slip out of control. Some drones were already too low or too far from defensive coverage. To stop those, Moscow activated remote self-destruct commands. Detonation signals were transmitted across the entire drone network. One by one, captured Shaheds exploded just before reaching the ground. From Russia's perspective, destroying their own assets was better than losing the technology. Yet, even this failed to stop everything. Electronic interference blocked several kill signals. A small number of drones dropped into dead zones where Russian commands could not reach. Those units remained intact.
Good drop.
Russia had sacrificed most of its swarm, but Ukraine had secured the most valuable pieces. The attack meant to overwhelm Ukrainian defenses had become a technological loss for Moscow. The longer the chaos continued, the more hardware Ukraine could quietly take off the battlefield. As soon as the intact Shaheeds touched down, Ukrainian special operations units were activated. Light strike vehicles advanced through forest corridors under night vision guidance. The teams were there specifically for the technology. Russian artillery began responding almost immediately. Shells started falling across the marshlands where the drones had landed. The window for recovery was extremely short. Operators reached the first down drone while its engine was still warm. Technicians moved fast to neutralize detonation circuits using rapid cooling methods. Electronic shielding was deployed around the airframe to block remote self-destruct signals. Within minutes, the drones were stripped down. The MD-550 engine was removed first, followed by the navigation processor and guidance unit. Teams ignored damaged airframes and focused only on intact components. Speed mattered more than completeness as artillery fire grew heavier. Shell impacts crept closer, throwing mud and debris into the air. Despite the pressure, the Ukrainian teams continued until all targeted components were secured. By the time Russian fire reached full saturation, the extraction vehicles were already pulling back. Moments later, the recovery zones were cratered by continuous shelling. From the Russian side, the battlefield appeared cleared, but the most valuable parts were already gone. Ukraine had successfully removed the technological core of the drone fleet. Within days, the seized components were transferred to secured engineering facilities. The goal was not to copy the design, but to integrate the most effective parts. The MD-550 engines were installed into upgraded Ukrainian long-range drones. Navigation processors were reprogrammed with hardened anti-jamming protocols. Control systems were rewritten to operate independently from Russian command signals. Every modification focused on making the drones invisible to Russian detection. Engine sound profiles were preserved to match standard Shahed acoustic signatures. To Russian sensors, these drones would appear familiar and routine. But internally, the targeting logic was completely different. Instead of civilian infrastructure, the new drones were programmed to strike military assets. Targets included launch platforms, fuel storage, and air defense batteries. Ukraine was preparing a deception strike using Russian acoustic fingerprints. The rebuilt fleet was small but precise. Training teams rehearsed autonomous navigation paths and low-altitude approach routes. Each drone carried upgraded charges optimized for destroying military equipment. What began as a defensive interception had now become an offensive capability. 1 week after the original swarm launch, Russian monitoring systems detected familiar engine signatures. The acoustic profile matched standard Shahed drones approaching from the south. Operators assumed routine movement and no immediate alert was triggered. The drones descended along known approach corridors used during previous launches. On Russian command screens, everything appeared normal. Seconds later, the first hybrid drone struck the launch infrastructure directly. The explosion ignited fuel reserves and warheads positioned along the rails. Fire spread rapidly across the compound. Secondary detonations tore through drone storage areas and maintenance vehicles. As Russian crews scrambled to respond, a second wave entered the perimeter. High-speed FPV attack drones surged in at low altitude. They targeted power generators first, cutting electricity to radar arrays. Command trucks were ignited next, disabling all coordination. The base was now operating blind. Two remaining hybrid drones pushed deeper into the compound, diving into active air defense batteries. The systems that had fired on their own drones days earlier were eliminated in seconds. With radar disabled and infrastructure burning, Navlia was no longer capable of drone operations. A major launch hub was reduced to a disabled logistics site. Russian command ordered an immediate suspension of long-range drone deployments in the sector. Operators could no longer distinguish real Shaheds from Ukrainian modified units. The weapon designed to overwhelm Ukraine had become a security risk for Russia itself. Ukraine had captured, rebuilt, and used the enemy's technology to destroy their network. The saturation strike meant to exhaust Ukraine, instead weaken Russia's entire campaign. This was achieved through control, adaptation, and reversal.